Hello, kindred spirits, and welcome back to Bits and Bob's Divination. My name is Caitlin, and today we are going to be taking a look into your creative gifts and powers, as well as how you might be having some blocks there. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Alright, so welcome back, my beautiful kindred spirits, and anyone new who may be joining us here on the channel today. It's wonderful to have you guys all here. We are going to be playing around with creative art magic as well as oracle messages, so even if you don't want to participate in the creative side or only in the magic or only in the creative, or just in the oracle side of this reading, there are lots of different ways you can play around with it. It's a very playful reading. If you are interested in it, obviously stay tuned, but if you're interested in seeing how I use my creative art magic in my own world, then feel free to see the 2 different grimoire videos that I have for my grimoire tour, an updated grimoire tour, and I also have an entire video on how you can create your own art magic through magical stamps. So if that's something that you're interested in, or if you want me to create one for you, then feel free to reach out for those through an email or to check out the video to see more information. But we're going to go ahead and get started here with each of the piles so you can really get a feel for each. So for each of the 3 piles here today, I have a different watercolor tube on each of them. So here for pile number 1, if you're feeling called to this one, then that is lemon yellow hue. So if you're feeling called to lemon yellow hue, then that is pile number 1. Here for pile number 2, if you're feeling called to Viridian hue of this sort of green, then pile number 2 might be for you. And last but not least here for pile number 3, if you're feeling called to Purple Lake, then Purple Lake with pile number 3 might be for you. But before you start heading off to the piles and the timestamps, I like to invite you to take a deep and cleansing breath here with me in a moment so you can really connect with your muses, your guides, your personal spiritual guides, as well as the piles themselves. And let's go ahead and take that deep breath together here now. And as always, there's no rules to this. You can choose all 3 of the piles, you can choose one pile, or take little bits from each of them. There really are no rules. All of the timestamps will be down below in the description alongside the chapter marks of this video. And if you are interested in getting your own art magic stamps, or if you're interested in looking deeper into the art magic that you could be bringing into your grimoire by looking at my own and getting some inspiration, then feel free to check out all those videos that I'll have linked down below. But with that said, let's go ahead and get started here with pile number 1. Hello group 1, if you decide to choose lemon yellow hue for your color here, then this is pile number 1 for you. We are going to be exploring your creative gifts, how they manifest for you, whether that's through art magic, whether it's just art, whether it's just creativity, or you can even just look at this as a way in which to get into art magic, however you wish. And you can also see this outside of magic and art in general, right? You can just see some of these messages can come across much more oracle-like, and so just use it as a springboard, play with it as you'd like. But we're going to look not only into any gifts or any paths that you might be taking creatively, but also looking into any roadblocks or challenges that you might be having when it comes to your creativity. So we're going to be doing that with the charms here, as well as several different decks, all of which I'll have listed down below in the description as always. But we're going to be starting out first with one of my favorite decks, and the one that kind of sparked doing these readings is the Art Magic deck by Molly Roberts. So let's get right into it. We're going to see what you got coming in for your creative gifts. Definitely feel free to send your own energy into the cards, meditate with them if you'd like. Take a moment, call in any creative guides or muses that you work with, and we'll see your creative gifts as well as any other things that might show up as well. So let's see, group 1. Where is your creativity being heightened at this time? Where is it coming forward most? And how might your creativity really be manifesting? So right now you've got the Restore Mind, Body, and Spirit card with this little sort of potion bottle or like a little glass jar with herbs. You also have this one trying to fly out with Not Magic. And we'll look at the back of the cards as well and see if there's any imagery we want to look at. So far you have one in the water suit, one in the, you got kind of a mix of things. One in the water suit, one in the earth, and one in air. So here you are with Spy Sacred Shapes, Restore Mind, Body, and Spirit, and Not Magic. Kind of a mixed bag. You guys don't have like a... Sometimes I feel like there's like a thread of things that are going on here. Thread with Not Magic. Sometimes I feel like there's a thread of something happening here right off the bat. But I feel like you are kind of like a jack of all trades kind of feeling. Like there's a little bit of you hopping between things. Maybe you're a type of person who hops between a lot of different hobbies or a lot of different creative passions. They don't have to be traditional creative things like painting and drawing or digital art, but it could be your creativity through surfing or through graffiti. I said this in a previous video of maybe you like carve canoes, maybe you are really creative with how you use math. Like there's a lot of different ways that we can be creative, and I just want to preface this at the start. But when it comes to your creativity, like I said, I feel like you're very much a mixed bag. We've got Spy Sacred Shapes, Restore Mind, Body, and Spirit, and Not Magic. Very different things coming forward, and from 3 different like avenues of elements. So it really doesn't feel like you are someone, maybe you're the type of person that doesn't like maybe go all in on one hobby, but you like pop in, pop out, pop in, grab the supplies, try this one, see what happens, see what sticks. And that's what I'm getting here. A lot of experimentation, a lot of good flexibility when it comes to trying to start something new and not being too afraid to fail or make mistakes or learn and be a little bit awkward with it at the start. But let's go ahead and read through each of these so we can get a better look. This one we've got sort of these sacred shapes coming forward with hearts and stars and patterns all over, I'm assuming, a peacock here with these little scissors. So it says Spy Sacred Shapes, and I'll hold this here in case you want to read it yourself. But it says Spy Sacred Shapes, sacred geometry flickers between sacred geometry flickers beneath the appealing proportions of nature like a secret code. These sacred shapes can be discovered in the spiraling structure of a seashell, honeycomb, snowflake, or flower. Study these sublime shapes, apply their harmonious magic, and watch your creations blossom with an otherworldly beauty that is both primordial and new. So we actually had this one come out in the previous reading that I did with Pisces season I don't remember which pile, but some of you might already feel like you've had this card come up. So if that is true, then this one's really, probably speaking to you most. But what I like about this one is just the connections between different shapes and things that we see in our everyday life. So I'm almost thinking like, when you're on the bus and I don't know, maybe this is just me as an artist, but when I used to be riding on the bus, I would like notice shapes in trees and in the way the branches would move, and those organic shapes I would then see again on the sidewalk in the spider webs of actual spider webs or in the spider web cracks on the sidewalk, and how that then would grow nature through it, and like these deeper connections to different shapes and how nature has gotten very creative. And so I think maybe nature is a great place for you to look for inspiration, especially when it comes to how to apply shapes, dimensions, patterns, textures to your creative projects that you're working in, and using nature as a really good sort of inspirational springboard. And the reason why I say specifically nature is because you did get it in the earth element. Let's look at Restore Mind, Body, and Spirit and see what's coming through with this one. This one feels much more healing, and I'm going to hold it up here for you as well. But let's go ahead and read it. So, restore mind, body, and spirit. Relax into your birthright of well-being, sensuality, and revolutionary pleasure. Mindfully sipping a cup of tea, preparing lotions and potions for the body, or creating moments of care that are all rejuvenating rituals. Delight your mind, body, and spirit with nurturous beauty. Go gently, claim time to savor, and be restored. So this one obviously is a lot more to do with, like I said, healing or the creative arts of healing. So some of you might literally be creating like essential oils, perfumes, lotions, that kind of thing. Maybe you're really into that kind of stuff. Or if it isn't that you're actually creating those things, it could be just that you are really good or have a creative kind of knack to be able to create really creative rejuvenating rituals and sort of routines that would be really helpful. Maybe you're the type of person that wants to create a spa night for yourself on a nice Saturday afternoon, or maybe you're the type of person who really wants to find that fine line of going out or being social and coming home and taking some time to look after yourself or rejuvenate your mind in some way. Maybe you're really good at towing that line, and maybe you're also really good at allowing other people and comforting other people in that way too. And maybe that's part of your creative gifts, is being able to like give a good massage, being able to really help restore literally the mind, body, and spirit of others in your life. And that, again, it feels like you have, like I said, with those deeper connections back and forth from the Spy Sacred Shapes card, that maybe that's also bleeding into this, and that you want to even bring that into maybe nursing, being a doctor, doing some sort of medical care, or even helping on more of a mental health side. These could be things or avenues in which you'd be better prepared for when it comes to restoring or helping others. I really feel like this is more connected to wanting to help others than necessarily pointed at yourself. And then lastly here you have Not Magic, which we're going to read through as well. You've got like this little owl up here nodding. And it says, Not Magic. Now is the time to make a decision, forge a connection, walk your walk, and keep a promise to yourself. Strengthen relationships of all flavors and hone in on connections that support mutual bliss. A knot seals a spell. Act decisively and carry on confidently. So it is. So this one is also talking about connections and forging connections, walking with other people, keeping promises to yourself and others. So really, I said that these didn't feel deeply connected, but as we are looking at it, I'm feeling like there's a connection with this at the heart of it, where you're just really wanting to forge deeper bonds through healing and through connection in that way. Maybe that's through massage therapy. Maybe it's through talk therapy. Maybe you're wanting to forge bonds with others through more intimate practices, or maybe you're wanting to use your creativity in a health-related field of some sort to be able to help others, create more creative solutions to help others, and to maybe even use nature as your muse to do so. Very interesting pile indeed. I'm very curious to see where it goes with some more of your cards. So we're going to pull some cards here to see some more on the narrative here that is forming, and more on any blocks possibly that you have going on here as well. I'm not really feeling a ton of blocks from you guys. It feels quite open. We have the Seven of Torches here, as well as the Fool. The Fool is a great creator, in terms of being very creative. But what I really love about the Fool is their belief in themselves, this like otherworldly belief, like they are about to hop off this cliff and they just know they're going to be able to fly. They know they're going to be able to walk to the other cliff. They just have this deep confidence and understanding in themselves. And maybe that's the reason why people feel comforted by you, because they feel like you bring this secure, more humble, very like a soft place to land on kind of energy to you. And that I think that kind of helps others to feel comforted and feel like you really have their best interest at heart. And then again with that Spy Sacred Shapes, we have like, whenever I look at this card, I always feel like the clouds are sort of silhouetting them, and so like as if they are being sort of silhouetted in the clouds. And so again, it's this like reflection of nature, this feeling of using nature as your muse, even in like a scientific field as well. And then with the Seven of Torches, like I said, I didn't feel like you had a lot of blocks or creative blocks that are coming forward at the minute, but the Seven of Torches here can showcase a bit of resistance, I would say. And it doesn't feel like it's resistance coming from within the house, right? It's not coming from within you. I feel like, again, you have quite a lot of confidence in your abilities, or are learning to at least become more confident in them, since this is the Fool, the very beginning of something. So this might be something, a new journey you're just beginning on. But it does seem like there's a bit of resistance from all different facets. Maybe it's not the most financially safe decision to take on some of these different job positions, or maybe it's that you're feeling like you're getting, backlash from family or friends or people not necessarily understanding it. But there does just seem to be a bit of judgment or a bit of resistance, like I said, of someone or something kind of causing a bit of resistance from you being able to go after these creative pursuits that are to help ail other people or bring comfort to other people. And that can obviously be more than the health field. This can spread through a lot of different, avenues. But however you feel it applies, it seems like there is a bit of resistance, and that resistance is, again, not really coming from within, but rather from others around you. Let's see if you get anything else here with 2 more cards, and then we're going to pull some charms to see if we get any advice as well. Group 1 here. Oop. I was just going to take that one, but we're going to take both. With the 3 of thread, knot, which is interesting because you got knot magic and then you got the knot. And then you got the flame, wildness, passion, and destruction. Also really interesting because the only element you didn't have show up here with your medley of elements was the flame, or was fire. And so the fact that you have both of these coming forward almost is telling me that this is maybe where this resistance is coming from, right? We've got something coming from the earth element with the nature side. We have the restorative quality of water. We've got the knot magic with air and our words and how we connect them to the knots and deeper connections that we're forging. But then what you haven't really knotted into the mix is the flame, right? That's maybe where this resistance is coming from, and maybe is needed in your creativity right now. And the flame is wildness, passion, destruction. The flame is an ability to transform something from one thing to another, really thinking of it as like a firebird or a phoenix, to rise from the ashes. So there's something that needs to, yes, be restored, but in doing so, maybe there's something you need to bring forward, a bit of zest, a bit of fire, a bit of wild nature coming forward. And then you have, like I said, with the 3 of thread, you have promises, bonds, and remembrance, and you have the forget-me-not showing up here in the middle of the knot here. Again, another reason why I'm feeling like there's a community element to your creativity, that maybe you want to work with a community, help or restore a community in some way. And a lot of that comes from also remembering those who came before you in your field, in the community in which you are connecting with, because it does seem like remembrance and history and understanding from a deeper perspective there of looking to the past is going to be really informative and helpful for you, and maybe is where some of this resistance is coming from. Maybe it's being lost to the flame. I know there's plenty of communities that can get erased, or we can lose information, lose skills even that we could have learned from the past. And so there is something showing up here of looking to the past, and not only looking to the future or in innovative ways. But yeah, you definitely have this flame element coming forward as well, that yes, you've been working on earth, air, and water, but the fire element is something that maybe you're resisting right now, and is something to embrace. So let's go ahead and finish off your reading by pulling some charms and see if we get any last little details. So here we go, group 1. Find it interesting that the very first charm that got stuck on my hand immediately was the ring. And the ring talks of promises, talks of bonds, talks of that knot magic energy. So it really feels like you deeply want to be connected, or create connections, create bonds through community and through restoration, for sure. Those are very much connected here. You even got the claw element here, maybe showcasing that when it comes to mind, body, and spirit. Body is a huge highlight here. But yeah, you got the commitment, promises, charm. This also can talk about legal documents and things as well. You also have love showing up at the center of the entire reading, which tells me that the destruction or the restoration that can come through the wildness and destruction of fire is coming from a place of love. And it also seems that when it comes to these knots and bonds, looking to the past, that maybe it's not going to be the easiest thing to look to the past, because there is a bit of again, that resistance. The hacksaw isn't always the smoothest saw. It's hacking away at something. And so what it's hacking away at is showing up here with the history. Someone is either trying to erase the history or or history is being lost when it comes to maybe cultural ties or creative ties or skills that are being lost to time. And this is something that maybe you're trying to bring back up. And then you also have A showing up here on part of that resistance as well, in case you're looking for an initial or other information. So overall, those are all of the charms and cards for you. I'm going to go ahead and close off this reading. Thank you so much for being here. And if you did enjoy this reading, definitely be sure to give this video a like and let me know in the comments down below what you saw. If there was something else, I feel like you guys had a very ping-pongy kind of pile. Like sometimes I feel like there's such a thread of information that it's sometimes almost very obvious what's going on, but yours is ping-ponging all over the place, so I really would love to hear your thoughts. And if you did enjoy this reading and you want to see more pick a card readings like this, then definitely feel free to subscribe, as I have more art magic videos and charm casting videos that I think you'd really enjoy. And if you're interested in more art magic, I have an entire video on the ways in which you can use stamps to create your own magical stamp set. So if that's something you're interested in, creating magical stamps for yourself, or even if you don't want to create them yourself and you want to commission me for one, then definitely feel free to reach out or check out that video for more information. But I'm going to go ahead and close this off. Thank you so much for being here with me today, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hello Group 2, if you've decided to choose Viridian Hue, then this is the pile for you, as we are going to be exploring your art magic gifts, and whether it's for magic, whether it's for just art and creativity, outside of even just fine arts, right? There's lots of ways for us to be creative in our lives. Then this is going to be usually and hopefully helpful to you. Definitely feel free to take this with a grain of salt as well, or play around with it in very unique ways, because the supplies that I'm using here today with the charms and oracle cards, and specifically the art magic deck, which I'll have all of this listed down below, by the way, this art magic deck really does lean into the art magic side of things. So if that's not your thing, definitely feel free to just use this more as an oracle reading, or just with creativity in general. And you know, take what you like, leave what isn't useful to you, and we'll see what comes forward. So we're going to be looking into not only your creative gifts, but also into how your creativity is just really manifesting right now, and how you might have certain blockages coming forward as well. So we're going to start out first with how your creativity is manifesting for you. So feel free to call in your muses, call in your guides, feel free to connect with the deck here, pause if you'd like to, and meditate with the cards. And we're going to get started here. So Group 2, how is your magic manifesting at this time? How is it really coming forward for you? How is your creativity coming forward? How is your artistic mind coming forward? We have a lot coming from the same suit. We've got 3 cards, which I believe are all going to be from the air suit. So lots to do with communication, with our mind, our ideas, right? So we've got these feathers showing up here. We have the sun, and then we have a moth. And I believe this one even flipped upside down, so we're going to see if this is more of the creative block, but let's have a little look. This one was actually the upside down one. So we have play, desire, we've got a couple coming up upside down, and then inspiration and synchronicity. So we've got 2 that are coming in more from a blocked standpoint, play and desire. Very interesting, because I thought they were all going to be in the air suit, and then the 2 that are actually coming up upside down are from the spirit suit. So it's almost like you're having a harder time connecting with play and desire, and how that connects to your identity and how it connects to how you feel as a creative person. It kind of feels like you're someone who's still kind of dipping their toes into creativity. Maybe you've been creative your whole life, but you've never really seen yourself as a creative person, or you don't feel like your job or your career really has a lot of creativity in it, even though others may, you know, see that very differently or differ with you on that opinion. But it just really feels like you maybe put yourself in more of a box, or you're not, you don't allow yourself to get as creative or let your creativity flow in very differing and unique ways. Especially since inspiration and synchronicity is the one that's coming forward the most. So it almost feels like you get inspired by a lot of creative ideas, but don't necessarily dip your toes into them. Don't allow yourself to play with them. I feel like that is where your block is right now. And I think you'd be really good. Like I said, these are blocks, but they are still your gifts. And so play, let's go ahead and flip these over. I'll just remember these ones were flipped. Play is at let's start with inspiration and synchronicity, since this was at the heart of everything. This is the thing that is flipped upright at the minute. I'll hold this up here in case you want to read it yourself, but I will be reading it with you here. It says here, inspiration and synchronicity. These shifting mercurial mists of inspiration are swirling all around you. Pay attention to patterns that permeate your day and wink from the periphery. Inspiration wears many masks, a clear bell, a bolt of lightning, or a soft, growing knowing. The muses are calling to you in whimsical and humorous ways. Be ready to pick up the phone. Ooh, very interesting. Earlier when I said, call in your muses, I almost felt like silly when I said it, for your guys' pile. Normally I wouldn't feel that way, but for some reason I did feel that. So, the fact that I was almost saying pick up the call that your muses are calling, whether you believe in the muses or believe in specific gods and spirits, or if you just believe in inspiration as something that shows up to each of us. Inspiration is starting to flow into your life, and there might be something that you're just a little scared to play with. You're a little scared that you're desiring to play with it in any capacity, whether that is an actual more typical stereotypically creative thing like crocheting or knitting or drawing or digital art or whatever it is. But then there could be something that's coming in that's inspiring you that just feels very out of your element. And it's where did this come from? Why am I feeling inspired? Why am I feeling a call to it? Why do I desire to try this thing? And I feel like you just keep putting yourself in a box and saying, oh, well, that doesn't match who I am, right? That's not in my box. And so it's kind of forcing you to get outside of the box or to get creative and try something new. And, maybe that's in writing or in something more related to the air element. Writing, ideas, public speaking, or doing a YouTube channel, right? Things that are very related to ideas, communication, words, and reading and writing. And so there could be something coming in that sense, although it doesn't have to be related. But let's read on play and desire here as well. These are the places in which you maybe are working on or are allowing to slowly make into your box. Play is powerful. Turn loose your kaleidoscopic spirit with fun and make-believe. Rambunctious play is the juicy elixir that rehydrates a parched heart and teases out your genius. Your unbothered joy bursts into being by consulting the evergreen child and kid within and granting your own wild wishes. So this one really does talk about childlike play, playing with macaroni noodles, creating things like little paper airplanes, right? You can go all the way back to childhood and color and do things like that would be maybe relaxing or inspiring to you or just wind you down. But it also can just be generally allowing yourself to play with the things that maybe inspired you or were inspiring to you as a child that seemed like things that you wouldn't desire as you got older, or you've lost touch with, but are starting to make their way back into your life. And you're starting to find that desire. We have desire here as well, so I'll go ahead and hold that up. We have a little phoenix. And it says here, what plucks and sounds the strings of your secret self? What gives your heart a genuinely succulent thrill? Hint, authentic desires are free of shoulds. Desires are seeds of creation. Conjure art to clarify or embody your most dynamic and fulfilling desires. Give interests and longings permission to bloom and perfume your ambitions. I think we've gotten this, every time I've done a reading like this, and desire is such a good one. I love when it says authentic desires are free of shoulds, and it's almost like, there are things that you're maybe doing in your life that are either creative or completely unrelated that feel like you should do these things, you need to be doing these things, this is where, you should be placing your time. And there's something that you're desiring that feels, free of shoulds. You just want to try it. You just want to see what you'll do. You just want to play around with it and see what happens. And I think you keep keeping yourself in this box and keeping yourself contained. And that containment is starting to, burden you, or at least put you down a little bit. And so I really feel like this is an opportunity, especially with this reading, to unlock a little bit of that playful side, unlock those desires, and see where they lead. They don't have to, like I said, be typically creative things. It could be math. It could be, studying butterflies. I don't know, whatever it might be. It could be anything, right? Creativity that flows through all walks of life and all different things that we can desire. So wherever that desire is coming in, allowing that playful spirit, that childlike play to come forward is really important. So let's see if we can get any more on these blocks, or any more on how your creativity is manifesting at this time. So we've got a couple coming out here. You've got the Eight of Torches. Whoa, what a trust fall. And then you have the Temperance card as well. Temperance usually represents needing to blend things together, allowing things to blend and meld and become a mixing pot of things. And so maybe there's something in your life that you just need to again, connect those two things together, and those aspirations, those inspirations, desires, and play, to synchronize with one another and harmonize, as you can see with them kind of mixing and mingling things. But then you also have the Eight of Torches, which is the one that, like, usually this represents like really fast moving energy, but it also can mean having to kind of trust fall, allowing yourself to kind of fall into these desires. The torches literally represent like the fire element. It represents that fire that just sort of starts in our gut and takes over. And so there's something right now that's just really getting you going. It's getting you really, excited and inspired and ambitious and driven and determined. And if you try to flee from it, it's just going to be so much harder to do as these torches continue to burn. And as you navigate them, I think the best thing you can do is just fall into them. Trust that these desires are leading you somewhere good and leading you somewhere that you can play and be more of yourself in, and find new pieces of yourself that maybe you've lost along the way, that your inner child is sort of kind of bringing you back towards. So let's see what else you have coming forward, and then we'll pull some charms. If you are enjoying this reading, though, definitely be sure to give this video a like and let me know in the comments what you're seeing. But we've got the Gardens. I love that card. And interesting, the Waters. Like, we were talking about the fire element, of course, but also this water card does kind of feel like also like you could be falling down like the trust of flowing down a river, right? You're not sure where it's going to take you. You might get a little bumps along the way, but it's leading you towards this trust fall that'll eventually lead you towards more healing and calming waters. So you have relief, rejuvenation, and rest coming forward with that water element. But also you have the Gardens with pause, safety, and secrets. So this tells me too that if you do decide to, go after these desires, do just decide to, take that river, take that trust fall, take that leap, mix and mingle some new creative elements into your life, that maybe you're going to need someone to understand you along the way, or you feel like it's something that you have to keep secret, hidden in the gardens, not something that people can see. But this also usually talks about, connecting with another person. So maybe it's connecting with a community that would understand your desires and the fun that you would be doing, and the play that you'd be enjoying, and in a place that feels judgment-free and feels a lot safer than maybe the people who already know you. They know you in this specific, box that you've built for yourself and your identity, that they're like, ooh, that's kind of weird that you're stepping out of that box, and it kind of pushes you back in. And so I feel like finding people who understand the new play and desire that you're after, whatever it may be related to, I think is really important. I also just noticed that, like I said, like you follow this waterfall to get to like this little oasis or this little cove, and then if you see the gardens, you can see that those rippling waters right behind them. So it kind of feels like by taking this leap, maybe by reaching out to a community or leaping into something, a class, or learning a new skill, or some sort of community-based something, you're going to be able to not only find others who understand, but also a calmness and a safety net to fall into. So really beautiful so far. Let's go ahead and pull you some charms to finish off your reading and see if there's anything else coming forward. So feel free to have a little chat with them, and I'll pull some for you. Okay, so let's zoom you in. And you have the Christmas tree charm, but what I like about this specific one is it shows like there are different steps to build a Christmas tree, like even if you don't like celebrate Christmas, just in general, if you're like building an artificial tree, right, you got to start from this, then you got to fluff it out, and then you got to add the lights, and there's a lot of different steps. And so when I think of this charm, it makes me think of like different steps to achieve a goal. And when it comes to the 8 of Torches, right, it's not about taking steps, it's about taking a big leap, and that you're going to have to maybe flow through a lot of different steps all at once. That might feel a little overwhelming, it might feel like a lot, but at the end there's going to be something really beautiful that's built from it. But I think if you try to, you're allowed to take baby steps for sure, go ahead, but the cards are really pushing you towards this trust fall. You also have in the gardens with secret and safety, you have the grieving heart or the sadness heart. And so when I see this one too, it can also showcase that in this place, it can be a very healing place and mending place for those more difficult feelings of grief, sadness, depression, and such. And then you also have over here with the healing waters of relief, rejuvenation, and rest, you have the solar plexus chakra. This one I always think of as relating to our identity and relating to how we, see ourselves and perceive the world, and it really feels connected to this play. But also it's creating a connection where maybe you're having to kind of let go of the earthly energy of like Taurus here, because Taurus, as a Taurus myself, we're not very great at unfamiliar things. We're not very good with trust falls. We like to know what's going to happen. We like to know exactly how things are going to play out. And so the fact that you're getting Taurus here on the waterfall is telling me that you really have to kind of truly let go to be able to follow these desires and follow these passions, to kind of build a new part of your identity that you've maybe been missing out on. Also could just be that the community that you're building may be related to a Taurus. Also it says here trustworthy as well, that to really, again, it's a trust fall. But overall, those are all of the cards and charms that I have here for you, group 2. I really hope that this has been useful and helpful, and like I said earlier, if it was, definitely be sure to give this video a like and let me know in the comments down below. I'm always curious to hear your thoughts, especially on such creative ones as this. And if you're interested in these pick a card readings and other readings, as well as art magic educational videos and educational videos on charm casting, then definitely feel free to subscribe, as I'd love to have you here and join us every Monday. And also, if you want to see more art magic, I have a grimoire tour. I have 2 grimoire tours actually, and I also have a whole video on how to create your own custom magical stamps and how to use them for art magic. So if you're interested in rubber stamps, stamp making, that kind of stuff, definitely feel free to reach out, as I also am creating custom stamps for each of you, whether it's for your business or if you want to use it in your magic, just using it for collaging or whatever, then definitely feel free to reach out, as I'm having a lot of fun creating those for you all. So all of the information for that is down below and in the video. And I'm going to go ahead and call off or close off this reading for you all. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hello group 3, if you've decided to choose the color Purple Lake, then this is the pile for you, as we are going to be looking into your creative magic, whether that's for art magic, whether it's just your creative gifts, or if you want to use this as more of an oracle reading, feel free to go ahead and just play around with it. This is going to be a very playful reading, not only looking into your creative gifts, but also looking into any creative blocks that you have going on right now, or into the way in which your art magic or just your creativity is manifesting right now, what's inspiring you, what's getting you going. So we're going to be playing around with a lot of different elements and seeing what comes through most for you when related to your creativity. And like I said in the other piles, creativity does not have to just be traditional media arts. It can be creativity through math, through science, through working on a transmission, right? Like there's lots of different ways to utilize our creativity, and it kind of follows us through all walks of life. So feel free to see how this relates to you in many different ways. Even if the cards try to kind of talk more about the traditional side of things, you're welcome to see where it lines up in your life. We're going to be doing this with the charms as well as several different oracle decks. The main deck being the Art Magick Tarot or Art Magick Oracle by Molly Roberts. I'll have all of this listed as always down below in the description in case you're curious what we're using, but feel free to call in your muses, call in your guides, and also feel free to just connect with the cards or take a moment to meditate and pause with them if you'd like to. But we're going to go ahead and get started here by mixing these up and seeing what comes forward for you for your creative gifts and how they're manifesting at this time, because I feel like we flow in and out. Our creativity moves in many different mysterious ways. I think it's this one. Let's see, anything else? Group 3 here. How is their creativity and creative gifts manifesting at this time? Okay. So, a lot of the piles have been getting purple today. It's just been one of those days. I'll go ahead and turn this one so we can really look at the backs here. We've got a lot of splattering, a lot of glitter coming through with each of these, which is just giving me this fresh feeling to them, probably because we had the Create New Opportunities card, but there's this freshness, and I immediately thought of this as like the rain after a rainbow kind of feeling, some sort of healing energy, but or even a waterfall, but I am also thinking of the last pile with that. But let's go ahead and see what is revealed underneath. So let's start this way. We have Create New Opportunities. You have Place of Power, as well as Weave a Healing Spell. So yeah, we've definitely got some healing coming forward, new opportunities coming forward through that healing, and that healing could happen at an altar space or a place in which you feel is a very powerful and spiritual place for you, or a creative spiritual place for you. This feels very like a linear piece of reading. Sometimes I feel like it bounces all over the place, and this is really kind of threading it through. So let's go ahead and read each of them and see what we get as we move forward. But it really feels like to me that you're kind of moving from healing from something to creating a new opportunity. But in the middle of all of that, you have kind of a step to take in order to get there. So you have from all of this as well, elementally, you have 2 from the air element, and then you have 1 from the earth element. So let's see. I'll go ahead and hold this up here in case you want to read it yourself. But weave a healing spell. Wind the threads of life and dream up a healing tapestry. Sing your prayers into ribbons, soothe frayed strands with your care, and knit new possibilities. Call on the ancient qualities of the cloth and fiber arts to assist you in this spinning spell. It is time to weave a new fate. Ooh, again, new opportunities, a new fate to weave. This is definitely coming forward. You guys can actually weave a healing spell if that's something that you're interested in doing. It's a lot of fun. I've done it before, and it truly is really healing. I did it for grief magic and healing. But for you, you might be healing through a relationship. You might be healing through a personal wound of your own, or maybe even a physical ailment. But I do feel like the weaving doesn't have to necessarily, like I said, you can see this is more of an oracle message if you don't want to do like physically healing through a weaving spell. You can weave different things in your life that maybe need mending, maybe with family members, maybe with, again, like your body and healing in that way, and feeling like you're weaving a spell as you go through day, finding ways to heal every single day, finding ways to make time for healing in some way, and over time those create weaves and grooves that create a fabric of healing for yourself over weeks, months, years. And so you can weave it like a spider weaves a web to kind of create not only healing, but also healing through community too. So then you have Place of Power showing up here with this like little altar space, or a very spiritual or sacred space of some sort. That could be an altar, it could be a church, it could be a patch of grass outside by a tree. It could be anywhere. But if it feels sacred to you and it feels healing to you and it feels like a place in which you could go to ground, to understand yourself better and to heal and to help create new opportunities for yourself, maybe through community or through community care, this is a great place to start. So it says here, place of power. And I'll hold it up here so you can read it if you'd like to. But it says, place of power, sprawling or tiny, permanent or temporary, public or secret. An altar is a conduit of creative life force and resilience for the art witch. Festoon your altar with anything you find special, fun, enchanting, or subtly compelling. Permit your altar to evolve as you do. Arrange intuitively, adorn, play, edit, and repeat. And we talk about altars as if they have to be like on a bedside table, or they have to be at a church or something like that, or a religious place. But I also find that, you can treat your body as an altar. You can treat, your kitchen counter. You can treat, like I said, a little spot by a river or by a cute little boulder outside of your house or whatever it might be, right? There's lots of ways and different places that feel very sacred and important to us, whether through memory. And I was even thinking with the healing, at least for me, when I was going through a lot of grief last year, I found a healing spell to be very useful. And a place of power can also be by going to like a cemetery or a place that you could have as remembrance, right? This could go a lot of different ways depending on what you are healing from, whether it's a physical ailment, something more mental, or if it's something that is more emotional, or a mix of the three, who knows? But whatever it is that you're having to weave together might be happening at an altar space as a place for you to kind of almost unwind or to unweave the things that are getting caught in your web, right? If we have a place that we're healing and we're using, different repetitive actions of drinking water, looking after ourselves, reaching out to someone who we want to heal or weave back into our lives, wherever that healing is happening, this is a place for you to kind of decompress, a place for you to go to the sacred space, decompress, and slow down. And so place of power is something like, if you haven't set one up, I think this is a really, either set it up or find one, that this is a really good time for you to get creative and not only, like I said, find, or the card said, not only find a place of power for yourself, but also to adorn it with things that really matter and help you to heal. So whether that's adorning your body with specific ointments or healing aids, whether that's putting little pine cones next to a tree, whether that's putting a flower on a gravestone, whatever it might be, these are ways in which you can also help yourself to heal, and creative ways in which you can find solutions to heal as well in a very physical sense. And then you have, after this healing has kind of come forth, you have creating new opportunities through having done so. So you can read that if you'd like to, but we're going to read it together, of course. And it says here, create new opportunities. Throw open the windows of your heart so fresh breezes can blow the cobwebs, interesting with cobwebs, blow the cobwebs away. Call in a gust of wind to stir in new circumstances. Clear your mind and carry goodwill all over town. Create an art spell on the wind to spread fresh blessings to your neighborhood, local creatures, the planet, and the people you may never meet. So that's really lovely to see, and you can see even they've got like a bit of bunting going on here with the wind, and you can even create a spell in which you could create a bunch of different weavings, right, and hang them outside and let them kind of flow in the wind. That'd be really fun, and create a place. You could even do it at a place of power, but outside of like a physical creation that you can touch or see or smell or whatever. Creating new opportunities also can just be talking about after a lot of healing, after we've moved through these different steps. And you might find you're at the healing step right now, you're like deep in this, but some of us have, you've moved through the healing already, this has already happened, and you're at the new opportunity now. And for those of you who are feeling more in that step, I feel like this is a great opportunity for you to kind of fly on the breeze, right? Literally go outside on a windy day and see what it inspires out of you. Talk to the wind, see what it says and whispers back to you. You can get really, really true about this and truly just speak to the wind. Or you can also find that new opportunities are coming through from the air element, as in reaching out for job opportunities or creating new opportunities by finding new friends or new communities. The air element has a lot to do with writing, literature, reading, ideas, but specifically in this case, I feel like communication. And so a lot of you are probably wanting to communicate, to create new opportunities through communication, whether that again is through creating opportunities with applications, whether that's putting your work out there through writing or reading or literature, or if it's going to community building events, or finding ways to heal even through community building events, the volunteering, through advocacy and many other different ways. But new opportunities are definitely coming in, especially to not only help you heal, but to maybe then heal others that you will never meet, others who have gone through similar situations as you. So I know this doesn't seem like the most creative thing, but like I said, creativity flows through us in many different ways, and creative problem solving is a really great way to do so. And so even though these don't seem maybe the most traditionally creative things, although you can read them that way, for you, it really feels like it's just the way you're kind of weaving through life right now and finding ways to heal, grow, and move to new opportunities to help others to heal and grow as well. So let's see how that is coming through with some other cards, because I've been waffling on about these three for a while, and we'll see if you get anything else. If you have any roadblocks coming through, if you have any other ways in which your creativity is flowing. So feel free to connect with the cards here. We'll see what you got coming forward. So you have the Three of Swords, definitely something you're healing from. The Three of Swords is the heartbreak card, or the card of definitely just going through quite a rocky situation for sure, right? They're getting kind of stabbed in the back here. It doesn't have to necessarily be a betrayal, but just in general, you're having quite a lot of burden, or you're feeling very held down by something, feeling very much like an idea even has maybe spread into your life and taken over something, and that's something you're healing through as well, maybe repetitive behaviors, and maybe that's something you're unweaving from your life as well, right? A weaving spell can be woven or unwoven, depending on how you are moving through things. Let's see what else you have coming forward. You also have the Six of Swords, and you also had the Seven of Pentacles. I was only going to pull you two, but then you had ones flying everywhere. So the Seven of Pentacles and the Six of Swords are very different energies, because the Six of Swords wants to move forward, and the Seven of Pentacles isn't sure where to move forward to next. It's very much a waiting game. So the fact that you have these two coming forward, where one is like climbing the stairs, moving forward, it may mean you're having to kind of hold a bit of your healing on your back, but you are moving forward. It's just then you have this giant question mark in the sky of like, the fields are growing, we're getting closer, some new opportunities are starting to bud, but you're in that waiting game. Maybe it's because you're putting applications out, maybe you're waiting for something to come back, maybe you're currently trying to move forward on something, but you're not sure how to achieve it. Whatever it might be, those new opportunities are still kind of up in the air right now for you, and that's maybe causing a bit of a a bit of a block, because you literally are waiting on something to come forward to make these fields grow, to make these new opportunities grow. Let's go ahead and see if there's anything else coming forward with two more cards. You have the Two of Thread Twine with agreement, symbiosis, and compromise. Let's see one more. Group three. Anything else coming forward? I'm not gonna lie, I've been pulling two cards for this particular part, but I don't think you guys need to. I feel like we're good with just the one. So we're gonna see what it says here a little bit more. Like I said, it says agreement, symbiosis, and compromise. And if you guys have ever made twine before, right, it's usually two threads that are kind of they're intertwined around one another. But if you have one pulled with a little bit too much tension, then it's going to throw off the entire twine as you go down. And so this is making sure that you're in symbiosis, you're working together, that there's something that is working together and working as like a well-oiled machine. And so the fact that you have this sort of disconnect between these two cards of wanting to move forward but not sure where to go is probably causing a bit of disconnect when it comes to this twine really working in your favor and weaving a healing spell into your life or unweaving something. So there's definitely a need for a balance when it comes to your healing, and making sure maybe you're not trying to move faster than your healing is ready for you to do so, right? Sometimes we're still healing through something, but we're like, no, I need to get to the next thing. No, I'm done with that. No, I'm ready to move forward. And we kind of get ahead of ourselves. We trip ourselves up a little bit by trying to make something grow or trying to make something happen or an opportunity come forward faster than it is ready for, or faster than we're ready for. And we can step, 2 steps forward, and you're now having to have that 1 step back. And I think that's coming from the tension that you're putting on this twine, and that it isn't able to sort of work its magic, weave healing into your life in the pace that it needs to. And so that's something to consider as well. Let's go ahead and pull you some charms to finish off your reading and see if there's anything left to say. But after that, we'll close it off. So feel free to have a little conversation with them. And I'm going to pull some for you, group 3. Okay. So you got the marble charm showing up here at place of power. I'll go ahead and zoom you guys in so you can see a little closer. But you got the marble charm, and I always think of this one as like a little cat's eye, or it makes me think of animals a lot, but I also think of like childhood games. And so this fell on place of power, so maybe it's a place that feels really calming to you because it is something from your childhood or something related to a pet. Maybe that's where the grief is coming forward, or it can also just make me think of like playing games, or maybe it's you feel, maybe it's not a place, but maybe it's a person, or it's a activity that makes you feel really calm. Maybe it's just playing cards around the table with your family, or some sort of community building activity. That could be a really creative way in which to move through difficult emotions, to mend relationships, and also to build community as well. You also have over here the blue moon charm, which usually represents something that happens once in a blue moon, or something that takes a bit of time. And so that definitely checks out with what we were talking about earlier, where it felt like you were trying to maybe jump a little bit too far ahead. And maybe it's going to take, this healing is maybe not going to feel, I don't know if we're ever fully healed from something always, but if it has a timeline, I would say around the next blue moon is when you're maybe going to feel more fully and securely healed in some way, or feeling more like it came full circle. You also have the X charm showing up here on 6 of Swords with the letter X. It can represent an X as well, but I do have a specific charm for an X, so that didn't come forward. But you can also see this is like X marks the spot of something that you're still digging up some treasure here with the 6 of Swords, something that you're moving and ascending towards, but it's going to take a minute to get there. Over here on create new opportunities, you're going to have some opportunities that are going, if you follow the same patterns that you used to weave into your life, that maybe cause this healing. Then, because this is the pattern charm, or repeating patterns and keeping things stacked up that way, you've got the trash charm right next to it. So it's telling me that some of the patterns that you used to do are not the same opportunities. We don't want those to be your new opportunities, because they're just going to lead you to the same paths. And instead, you want to kind of protect yourself from continuing to do those behaviors and patterns, because you did get the protective charm of the thimble. So overall, those are all of your charms and cards here, group 3. I really hope this has been useful and helpful to you in navigating your creative pursuits, where your creativity is lying. I know that it didn't feel like the most creative reading. It felt more like an oracle reading, but if you did enjoy it, definitely be sure to give this video a like, and let me know in the comments down below what you saw or how you might be utilizing these art magic techniques that maybe came up in the cards. And also, if you're interested in these pick a card readings, I do lots of different art magic things as well as educational videos on this channel that you can check out already. So definitely feel free to subscribe, as I put out new videos every single Monday that I think you'd really enjoy. And a lot of videos that you can go check out already, such as the video that I have for your ability to learn how to create your own magical creative stamps and art magic stamps of your own, for rubber stamps and the like. So if that's something you're interested in, or you want me to create one for you, then definitely feel free to reach out, as I am offering custom stamps that I can carve and create for you. So if that's something you're interested in, feel free to check out the video to see more of what I do, and also feel free to reach out through an email, an Instagram DM, or down below in the comments if you're interested in getting your own for your business, for your art magic, for collaging, for whatever you'd like. So feel free to check those all out. I would love to create those for you. So with that all said, I'm going to go ahead and close off this reading. Thank you so much for being here with me today, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.